they don't talking about the can product itself at all. They always talking about the story around that energy. I'm not good at selling a can, but I know how to create the story around it and how to integrate into consumers' lifestyle. So making the fan is the core essence of this kind of marketing.
Global brands require an effective marketing strategy. This includes creative content that enhances brand awareness and creates the right kind of buzz. Our Globalist today is the driver of such a marketing strategy, a creator of campaigns that give global brands their iconic image.
자, 바로 저기 보입니다. 이기나 봐! 내가 이기나 봐! 이기는 거야!
Joo Sung-kyun is a creative content manager for Pernod Ricard, a global wine and spirits company, and has worked on campaigns for such global brands like Red Bull, Philip and Absolut Vodka. He joins us today to talk about the thinking and strategy behind such popular content and how Korean culture is currently having a significant impact in the world of global marketing. Welcome to The Globalist.
Thanks for having me. It's an honor to be here.
So we really are glad that you took the time to join us today because this is such an interesting topic. But let's first talk about the role you play. We said you were a creative content manager, but what does that actually mean? Take us through what you do for now, Pernod Ricard.
Okay. My job is all about finding the ideas and fresh ideas and create content that deliver the brand messages in very creative ways. In the world today, there are so many contents are floating, and if you're making something, it has to be stand out, and it has to catches the customers' insight, right? So up to now, I was developing the global campaigns like Malibu, do whatever tastes good, and I made contents around it, and also adapted the global campaign, Absolut Born to Mix campaign, into the Asian version, because the global campaign was a little bit hard to understand for Asian, so I adapted to Asian version to make sure deliver the right message.
Welcome to the world of Absolut cocktails.
Absolut.
So really sort of adapting it to the market that you're targeting.
Yes, it is. Because in order to deliver the campaign message properly to the consumers, it has to be attracted. It has to be stand out, and they have to understand it easily. So in order to make that happen, adapting is a crucial point.
Let's talk about another campaign. Red Bull, a strategic thinking with an artistic flair is what people say. Talk about a campaign for Red Bull that you were also involved in that sort of you had to sort of adapt to the market.
Yes, from Red Bull, I can think of one of the fun campaign happened, which is we didn't use any budget out of that, but we made one of the top viral effect after that campaign. It was back in 2012 when the Red Bull racing team came to Korea and visit Yongam to do the racing. And
Was that one Formula
Yeah, Formula One, F1.
was briefly in Korea. It's
Yes.
not in Korea anymore, but it was at the time.
It was back in the time. That was the first F1, I guess. A lot of fans were there, and I saw people were keep on dancing on Gangnam Style from Psy.
Was that when Gangnam Style
Yes,
was in?
it
was
became
in-
the
came-
world phenomenal music back then. And I saw the fan of Red Bull keep on drawing two drivers dancing Gangnam Style. And I saw a lot of retreat from the fans, and we found out that they really want this happen. So we decided to use this opportunity to inviting Psy to make that happen. But you know, like by the time it's too late to officially inviting him. He was too famous, and we didn't have any budget. So we decided to take another route, which is I jump into the Red Bull Racing team's garage.
Okay.
Yep. And everyone knows about the Gangnam Style. So I asked that, could you dance Gangnam Style? And they love to dancing.
Are there drivers, the mechanics,
Mechanic
the
and
engineers?
director, they were dancing. And we filmed it. And then we made a nice, quick invitation to Psy. We asked him to join. And then we also asked to the fans who want that happen to retweet until he sees it.
Gangnam Style. Op, 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 op. Oppan Gangnam Style. Gangnam Style. Op, 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 op. Oppan Gangnam Style. Hey, sexy lady. Op, 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 op. Oppan Gangnam Style.
And like day after, really, the response came from Psy because it got a lot of viral. So he accepted the invite, and he really came over to the paddock, and he danced with the Red Bull drivers. And we made another content with their dancing, and a lot of media came over as well. And we posted it, and it became the top viral posting around the world back then. So.
I think it was a wonderful idea, but it also has to sort of represent Red Bull. Okay, Red Bull, isn't that the company that makes drinks that you know gives you energy? The energy drink company?
Yes, it is the energy drink company. But like energy drinks, right?
Okay.
It's all about energy. They wanted to pushing them to the boundary to get that energy, right? That's what they always do. They don't talking about the can product itself at all. It would be hardly finding.
So we're not doing advertising
No.
saying this is the Red Bull can.
We don't
Drink
do
it to
this.
not
and-
fall asleep.
Oh no.
No.
So they always talking about the story around that energy, not the can itself. People doesn't know how well it actually sells in the market. So guess what is the number one can sales in the market?
Cans, soft drinks. Oh, Coca-Cola.
Coke.
Yeah.
And second,
Pepsi?
those two are the Coke, yes.
Yeah.
And third,
Oh, okay.
it's Red Bull.
Really?
Yes. They didn't mention it, but it is true. And think about it. The Pepsi and Coke, it's $1 value
Yeah.
product. And Red Bull is more than $2 product, meaning in terms of, like making money, it's much bigger. So they are number one who makes the money from the can business in the world.
And these kind of campaigns help.
It does. That's what they have done since the beginning. And it really worked, but as I say, it cannot actually calculate it right away after the campaign, but it comes one day. So they wanted to emphasize that energy part so that they actually made a 2 F1 team. They also have the factory. They actually make their own F1 car. So they really taking that as a serious.
So it's like Red Bull gives you energy to, do things, and this is what racing is. It's like people need energy to race, I guess.
That's right. It makes fans.
Oh.
So it makes people to wear the Red Bull uniform and let them working around and cheering together. It's a big brand fan powers. That's what they created.
And so that's kind of the creative content that you try to sort of create.
Yes, it is. I'm not good at selling a can or like a vodka. I'm not really expert on doing those kind of marketing, but I know how to create the story around it and how to integrate into consumers' lifestyle. So craving their own culture for the brands. So making the fan is the core essence of this kind of marketing.
Sort of creating a narrative that draws people in.
Yes, it is. Even though they don't drink Red Bull, even though people who cannot drink Red Bull, they still love Red Bull because they supporting a lot of athletes, a lot of the musicians. So if you have become a fan of that musician who helped by Red Bull, you get love Red Bull in the future.
I could see how your Psy campaign was really very popular. But talk to us about another campaign. This was between a Hyundai car and a jet. I mean, that seems to be quite on a different scale. I mean, what brought that campaign out?
You are talking about the underbreaking racing between the Red Bull Z,
Okay.
and the Hyundai, the high performance
So
car.
Red Bull is not only in cars, but in jets?
We do, Red Bull have many Z
Really? Okay.
in Salzburg.
Right. So it's a Red Bull campaign with a Red Bull jet.
Yes. We are looking into those kind of drag racing, the speed racing is what we were looking for. And we made it happen because we started with one little highway, the runway, and they started together, and then they really finished together. So you really can tell they are racing together.
Not that I want to do a spoiler on this, but at the end of the race between a jet and a car, who won?
That's an easy answer.
Are you ready? Yes, I'm ready. It is ready.
A jet?
Set, of course.
Really? I thought a car might have won. No?
The car ran over 2 kilometers, but that, in order to make it fair, we make that to run 4 kilometers because that is much faster. But at the end, they almost got in a.
I saw that, yeah. Because it's sort of it's like a cliffhanger kind of end.
It was.
Going to Slovakia with the world's best jet fighter pilot, and of course with a jet, it sounds like it's a mega project, which means it's a mega budget project. Does the investment justify the return that you get?
You mean the ROI?
I guess. I mean, it must have involved a crazy amount of money.
Everyone actually think that is involved big amount of money because if you see the project, the scale-wise, it's a big. But to tell you the result first, like Red Bull Korea only spent the return ticket of my airplane.
Okay.
So I knew that the scale is big and Red Bull cannot afford it by its own. So we decided to find a partner.
Oh.
So I knew that Top Gear Korea team, they were looking for the best episode for their next season.
So it was the TV program Top Gear.
Top Gear.
Based on cars, actually.
Yes, it is. They always does that racing. So they always dreamed about that the racing happen either. But of course they cannot do it by themselves. It's too big. And also for the car, back then Hyundai were developing the new high performance car, which is N. They didn't open for public yet, so they decided to unveil the car from this project. So Top Gear, they supported the filming crew, and Red Bull supported the Z and the pilots, and Hyundai, they supported the car. So we did what best we can do, and we made that happen. Meaning, none of us actually spent that big amount of budget to make this one happen. So
It was not that big of a investment.
not at all.
So we talked about narratives that draw consumers into your brand. The narratives increasingly, especially because you're Korean and for the Korean market, even for the global market, are including Korean culture. Why is that, and how has that affected what you do?
During the COVID, the Korean content easily accessible for them. The fundamental base of understanding of Korean culture is a set during the COVID, I guess. And as you know, the K-pop and K-food, K-fashion, it jumped into export to the overseas, and it gaining great popularity, even though with Korean language. Is it common to see the Korean figure becoming a brand global ambassador for the global brands like Fendi, like those luxury brands too. And also before COVID, it was not common to have a APAC office in Korea. But after COVID, many companies they moving their APAC office, which was in Shanghai or
Asia
Hong Kong.
Pacific offices.
Yes. Shanghai, Hong Kong, Singapore. Now they're moving into Korea to let Korea to overseas the Asian market.
Why? Just because the culture is
The
more
culture
popular?
is really popular, so that something Korean works in Asia.
Oh, so it's now a selling point, have some Korean culture.
Yes, it is. So people get easily adopting Asian culture from Korean culture, which is really working in a way in terms of marketing and sales. It really works.
So it means that people already are familiar with Korean culture.
They are.
Or they like Korean culture, so they will like Asian culture.
That's right. So that is the main reason why all the global companies now looking into Asia, Korea specific.
And so that is maybe one of the reasons they hired you and what they want you to do. I also heard about wakeboard campaign.
Wakeboard campaign.
Now, actually having a wakeboarding in Korea. So what was that campaign about?
So that was another Red Bull project that I have done with the team. And back then, Red Bull fears the competition each other with the markets. So makes them to create buzzworthy content with your own country's color. So I thought about what can be the unique point for Korea. And I stuck with the Mudflat, which is the biggest in the world and also registered in the UNESCO. And Mudflat is one of the spot that if tourists come over from overseas, they really wanted to experience. So I started with Mudflat, and the idea sparked. I decided to making a special content that doing a wakeboarding on the Mudflat, not the traditional lake or the river, and at the same time showing the beauty of Korea either. So we had several meetings with the athlete that whether he really can do that or not. It takes some time to actually get permission to film it over there. But we made it happen, and the video was amazing. I think it was one of the best video I have ever made before.
Really? So we're talking about boarding on mud?
Yes. So
Is that
boarding
even
on,
possible?
because if you see the mud, and always there are the little area with
Pools of water
pools of water.
inside the mud.
Yes, beside the mud. So riding on the sea and then jump into the mud and sliding on the mud. And if you find an obstacle like a tree, jump. Or if you see another obstacle like the ship on the mud, you can ride on it. So we made a very special version of wakeboarding video, and it really satisfied everyone who actually made it. And Red Bull HQ even loved that content itself.
In areas that you've been in, Red Bull is an energy drink, cigarettes, alcohol. I mean, they're sort of sensitive products. And you want to be sensitive to the concerns that are surrounding these products. How do you work around that?
So those sensitive products, in Korea, there are strong regulation around it too. So it's very hard to showing the product to let them, buy it. Like how Red Bull did, it's better to integrate into their customers' lifestyle. So for example, cigarette company that I worked in, think about when they doing like smoking, relaxing, they wanted to have some time by themselves. So what we have done in the Philip is that there's a cigarette boutique in city in the middle of the city. We transformed that into the gallery. So we work with the famous graffiti artists. So
Really?
we try to put a bit more modernized.
So it
drawing in it.
becomes an artistic, iconic place.
It's become an iconic place in the city because it's really stand out because it's graffiti. And if you go in, there's a lot of art that you can enjoy and relax. So those kind of culture, craving your own culture, is needed for the marketing, for promoting their product, I guess.
And it gives Korean graffiti artists an outlet
It is.
to become very creative.
Yes.
So where do you think the creative content production will go? I mean, there are many things that will affect the future. We're talking about different social media platforms, the metaverse, the influence of AI, the new technology. How do you think that will alter what you do?
I think the AI could affect the marketing field a lot now, not for the future.
Already, yeah,
Already,
it is.
already. So I believe the AI is a powerful tool to help the marketer think broadly, create the asset effectively and productively. So if you're using AI properly, you can really do the brainstorming session in a minute. You can pick and choose. You can make it so quickly with very small budget. So it's important to utilizing the AI tool for all the marketers. It won't be like AI versus human. I guess it will be like those marketers who utilize leveraging AI effectively versus who don't. I think world will be changing like this, and that's why the challenge is, AI technology is keep changing, keep growing. So they really have to study.
Yeah.
They really have to learn which platform, which AI is suit for them, suit for their work. They have to really find that out, study, use it, so that they can remain as a great marketer in the future.
So you have to be a student all the time.
Yes, especially these days.
Well, we're looking forward to see what you become later. And this area of business is always, I think, going to be changing very, very fast. And if any area is at the forefront of adopting AI, it's probably this. So we're looking forward to seeing what you produce next.
Thank you.
And that's it for me. I will be back next week with another globalist who is putting Korea on the map. Sun Ji, out.